Hi there, my name is Nancy, and this is a releasing technique that I came up with. This technique can help you release emotions and also take control of how we express those emotions. I do want to give a disclaimer. I am not a professional. I'm not a certified anything. This is just a technique that I've put together and has been helping me a lot. It has helped some people that I've shared this with, and I wanted to share it with everyone. I would say if you are dealing with any kind of mental disability like schizophrenia, or you've been diagnosed with any kind of like mental illness, I would say maybe go to a professional. Don't do this. And also, this is more so for someone who already knows how to do shadow work, or someone who's kind of familiar with the process of finding the core beliefs behind everything that we do, basically. If you've never done it, I think some of these questions might still work out and get you to where you want to, where I need you to get to, so that you can actually like go through this process. But if you don't, you can always reach out and I can go through the process with you, or I can kind of give you more questions to get you to that emotion that we're trying to get. So the whole purpose of this is for you to really tune into your emotions so that you can feel them. Releasing is more so, in my opinion, a byproduct of you allowing yourself to feel emotions. So what we want to do is basically trigger ourselves until we get to that emotion and find out where it really came from, where it started, so that we can then see where the attachment is. Sometimes, like for example, we might feel attached to our partner and we think it's because we love them, but really it's because they give us something in exchange. So that is the cord that we will be cutting. This process includes a little bit of shadow work, parts work, and a bit of cord cutting. It's all a visualization, so this is why I don't recommend it for anyone who deals with any kind of mental illness. A few things that you can use in this process is a candle. I like to have the fire energy present to help us transmute everything that we're releasing. I also recommend a grounding crystal, something that you can hold in your hand to keep you grounded and to remind you that whatever we are visualizing is just a product of our mind and we are actually in a safe space. And also an obsidian blade or an obsidian arrowhead in this case. You don't need this. If you don't have one or you don't have access to one, you can just imagine a pair of scissors with your fingers or your hands. So you don't really need this, but I like to have the energy of the obsidian present because obsidian shows us the truth. And it helps us with cord cutting. It helps us to stay protected, and it helps us connect with our compassion in our hearts. So I really like obsidian for that. Okay, so the first question I would ask myself is, what is it that I'm struggling right now? What is that emotion that I feel is not allowing me to go to the next step, or that it's always holding me back? A lot of things might come up, so the next question that I would ask myself is, whenever all these things are coming up, where do I feel that tension in my body? Like for me, the one that's really present right now is the one on my throat. I feel like I have a hard time connecting my ideas and transmuting them through my voice. My emotions get trapped in my throat. I don't feel the ball as I used to because I've done this a lot of times, but I still feel it and I know it's still in there. So as we're asking ourselves these questions, what is it that triggers me? What is it that's holding me back? Who is this attached to? What person triggers it? What person makes me feel unempowered? What person's making me feel like I'm not good enough? Usually, again, we attach it to a person. So let's really focus on the emotion that this person or this place or this thing or this habit, what is this need that I have with this habit? And where do you feel it in your body? Is it in your stomach, in your heart, in your leg, your arm, your head, your mind? Like, where do you feel it in your body? And when we want to tune that energy or that focus into where it is that we feel it. After we've allowed ourselves to feel it for a little bit, the other question we can ask ourselves is, well, what is it that I want to feel instead? Let's say that you want to feel free to do whatever you want, but you feel like you can't because you have children, you have a job to do, whatever it is, whatever the reason may be. We want to hear every aspect of you that has something to say. So let's say a part of you says, well, I want to do that, but if I do that, well, I want to speak up, but if I speak up, it means this and this and this is going to happen. I want to tell that person this, but if I say that, then this and this and this will happen. And then there's a part of me that wants to just scream and do whatever. We want to hear every part of you that has something to say about this. To speak up. This is the time that you want to allow all those parts of you to say whatever they need to say. And this is kind of like doing parts work, except we're not necessarily trying to find a middle ground for everyone. We're just trying to hear our story. This will give us a bigger picture of where we stand with this emotion. So we need to make sure that we're staying as an observer and we're just listening. We're not necessarily judging or saying, but I understand, or this, or we don't want to give any comments to what each part of you has to say. We're just letting you talk, and we're not necessarily finding a solution. We're just allowing all those things to come up so that we can hear the story that we're telling ourselves. So all those parts of us that have something to say, those are all fractions of us that broke off from us being whole, that were not aligned with that experience that you were having. And so what we're doing right now is just being like, okay, every single part of me that has something to say, I want to hear it now so that I can hear the story that is keeping me from being all of these or seeing all these parts as myself. This might be triggering a lot of emotions, or it might make you feel sad, it might make you feel angry, whatever it is that it's making you feel. Our emotions are our guidance back into alignment. So let's tune into whatever it is that's coming up. Again, feel where it is in your body and just really allow yourself to feel it. Whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever is coming up, whether it's making you cry, it's making you feel angry, just know that you are in the right, you are in the right position to feel that. So allow yourself to feel it to its fullest. Especially if it's anger. Anger is actually something that I now look at it as something beautiful, because it's such a fire energy that it like empowers every emotion that I have, and it just intensifies it. I used to be scared of my emotions because it felt so intense that it kind of scared me a little bit. Now I embrace that, especially anger. Like whenever I feel anger, I just allow it to intensify my emotions. And this, whatever, even if it's just sadness and you feel it so strongly, allow yourself to feel it and tell yourself it's okay to feel it. But also remind yourself that intensity is your power. It's your power, and the only thing that is transmuting it, the only thing that it's filtering it is your mind. You're the one deciding what to do with that energy, whether you're turning it into sadness, happiness, anger, the way that you're expressing it when you speak, the way you're expressing it with your actions. You are the one who's in control of that energy. So really tune into that power that you're feeling right now and own it. Whatever it is that it's feeling like right now, own it. That is your power. Own it. Now you might start to get a lot of memories or visions of things. Whatever it is that is coming up, allow it to surface. This is your mind showing you the things that you've been suppressing. If it gets too scary, you don't have to do the visualization. You can actually envision a ball of yarn or cord or thread that is tangled up, and it has manifested in that part of your body where you feel that emotion. And just imagine yourself pulling a cord, and just every time that you pull on it, you feel that emotion more and more strongly, and just keep pulling at it, and with every pull you feel that sensation or that emotion more strongly and more until you have pulled enough out that you don't feel it as strong, and just keep pulling it until you don't feel anything anymore. You might find there might be other balls in there in your body, and that's okay. We're just gonna focus on this one for the time being. If you're okay with the visions that are coming up or with the memories that are coming up, this is your chance, and this is the safe space that you've created for yourself right now to visualize whatever craziness you want to do. If you want to imagine yourself throwing like plates around, or breaking a window, or breaking a car, jumping on a car and hitting it, or kicking something, whatever it is that will help you get that emotion out. If it's sadness and you just want to like scream and throw something, or whatever it is that you want to feel, this is a safe space in your mind. Tell yourself that this is a space in your mind where you can do that. Do it in your mind and visualize yourself doing it. The reason I like this visualization, or this part of the visualization, is because your mind doesn't know if it's happening or if you're just imagining it. We're allowing for this release to naturally happen. You're allowing yourself to feel it, imagine yourself doing it, and then when we're done being crazy, we can take a breath in and tell ourselves that it's okay. It's okay that we're doing this. It's okay that we're overreacting. This is exactly how we feel. This is how our emotions are making us want to do crazy things. But because we know deep in our hearts that this is not something that we're okay with doing, but allowing ourselves to visualizing it and doing it can pretty much do two things for us. One, it can help us release exactly those emotions that we feel. And two, it can show us just how crazy we could go and how scary life could get if we were to act on those emotions, because they are so strong, they are so powerful, that if we're not filtering through those emotions, like we might be in jail later tonight. So again, this is a moment of awareness for yourself to see where your mind takes you, but also how much control you have if you just visualize it and do it with the purpose of allowing yourself to feel it and release as a byproduct of you allowing yourself to feel those emotions. Again, if it's too scary, just keep pulling on that cord and breathe through it until you feel like there's nothing left to pull out. After we feel like we've done enough pulling and we're done being crazy, we've broken enough things in our minds, we want to take a few more conscious breaths in and let out. And now where we want to go is a space of neutrality. So whatever it is that you got to do to center your energy, take more breaths in, try to clear your mind. And when we're in this space of neutrality, what we want to do now is to put ourselves in the shoes of the other person. We want to put ourselves in their shoes so that we can understand where they're coming from. Imagine all the pain, all the suffering, all the trauma that they must have gone through, all the lack of awareness that they have of themselves and how they feel, and how they have no control over their emotions, that they are now acting on how they feel because they were never taught to do otherwise. They never got the chance to sit with themselves and do what you're doing right now, to give themselves and allow themselves the permission to feel and tell themselves it's okay to feel what they're feeling because they have the right to feel it. And from this place of understanding, can we tune into our hearts and give them compassion? And from that sense of compassion, let's actually imagine our hearts opening and this like radiant golden light coming out of it, just so bright and golden, and it feels warm, and it's filling yourself up with all this love that you have for yourself. Remind yourself that you are a stream of consciousness connected to God itself, and bring all that energy through your heart. Allow yourself to feel it all over your body and tune into that compassion, love, and understanding for the person. And since we're still attached from that cord, let's send them all that love and understanding. We might not be able to tell them. If you can tell them in person, even better, but just send them understanding. I understand that you did what you could with what you had. I understand that you came from a place of pain, a place of hurt. And I send you love and understanding. It doesn't make it okay that they did that. But again, it's just reminding you that you have the ability to understand. Now with the same love and understanding, we want to grab that cord that we have attached to that person, and we want to cut it with the obsidian arrowhead or the blade, or even just with your imaginary scissors, and we want to cut it off, and we want to grab their end. We want to seal it off with all the love and compassion that you're feeling right now, with that radiant love and light, with that unconditional presence that you're giving yourself. Send it off back to them in hopes that they have that same love and understanding for themselves. Now we want to grab our end of the cord and we want to plug it back into our stream of consciousness that is connected to God. Because really, we don't need that energy coming from anyone except for ourselves. Granted, we're human and we're supposed to be communal, and we're supposed to do everything as a community and together as a team. However, this exchange of energy that you were getting, you don't necessarily need it from somebody else. You need to learn to give it to yourself so that you can radiate that energy and therefore attract it. This is how manifesting works too. You now have the technique to become an alchemist when it comes to your emotions. Now to close the circle, we want to end it with gratitude. Gratitude specifically for the person who played the part of the aggressor or the enemy, the person who hurt you. Gratitude to them for playing this role in your life, because you chose this life. You chose them to play that part in your life. So gratitude, thank you for playing that part. Thank you for showing me the aspects of myself that I wasn't aware of, and you brought them out in such a heavy way that I could tune into that energy, that strength that is all mine. And with that same strength, we're going to reciprocate with love and compassion and gratitude for that person, for yourself. Big gratitude to yourself for allowing yourself to go through this process, for allowing and giving yourself the opportunity to sit here and process your emotions, process your thoughts. You are choosing every thought from now on. Now that you're conscious of how you can manipulate your brain to think whatever it is that you want to think, or whatever your emotions are triggered to think, you can never go back to acting crazy without knowing exactly what you're doing. The point of this swing of emotions, going from one to the other, it's only to bring you back to the center, which is love. Love is actually neutrality. It's not pink rainbows and butterflies. It's actually being neutral and understanding both sides of the picture. So with that, I want to leave you with one last message. Is stay conscious, stay neutral, and keep spreading kindness. Okay, thanks, bye.